This video will help you learn the basics of film editing. Let's go. Film editing is an art of storytelling. So this art is unique to filmmaking, separating it from other art forms like photography, theater, dance, writing, and directing. So it involves the selection and combination of shots into one particular sequence. So earlier on, the director would have shot different scenes in different places. All these scenes will then send to the editor. The editor will select the correct scenes and combine all the shots together to form one particular sequence. So fundamentally, film editing is the art, technique, and practice of assembling shots into a coherent whole. So this art of filmmaking can be used to bring out emotional truth in the actor's performance. For example, if the actor is portraying anger, the editor can give a tint of red shade to the scene so that the emotion is magnified, and it can also help create an illusion of danger when there is none. This pertains to horror films, thriller films, and also action films, and it helps to create a vital subconscious emotional connection to the viewer so that the viewer will feel themselves to be a part of the movie that they are watching. It is actually a laboratory for experimenting cinema. So you have shots taken in different angles, in different backgrounds, in different lightings. So all these things are put together in this editing laboratory, and you're experimenting with cinema basically here. An old film saying goes, film is created 3 times: when it is written, when it is shot, and when it is edited. But this is only true to the ones who are clueless about filmmaking. Film is actually created in one continuous step. When the script is very well written, that will help the director to shoot a creative movie. It will help him to decide the background, the costume, the setting, the lighting, everything. The well conceived script will help the director to do these things. When these two things are over, it then helps the editor to enhance the editing to produce a better picture. So now in editing, all the overlooked details will be fine tuned. So basically, when someone is taking a movie, all the importance is given to the actor who's acting in the film. And most often, people tend to leave out minor details in the background. So all these things will be fine tuned in the editing. So for example, you have a picture from the movie Gladiator here. Gladiator, the movie is set in AD 180 in ancient Rome. As we all know, there was no planes in Rome in AD 180, and clearly in the picture we have a plane behind the actor. So these kind of minute flaws will be edited off in this stage. This is why editing is a very important and a vital role in filmmaking. So we move on to the editing process. Editing is actually the art of splicing together raw footages. The raw footage that is taken from the scenes, that is, the location is sent to the editor. So it starts the same time as the filming also starts. It's not like the shooting finishes and then editing starts. Both of it starts at the same time. And all these daily rushes are sent to the laboratory, and then the editor starts to work on it. There are 4 main stages in editing: sorting, editor's cut, director's cut, and negative matching. In sorting, you actually assemble various shots and scenes in a proper sequence. So earlier on, now you've taken a lot of shots, a lot of retakes, so now you have to assemble them in one particular order. And then this is what happens in sorting. Once sorting is over, editing begins. So logging of various tapes is essential for a video movie. Every single tape, every single take that is taken has to be logged. This will help reduce the editing time. So next we have the editor's cut. This is the first stage of editing. So now the editor sits and cuts the entire movie where needed. So this stage is editor's cut, is also known as the assembly cut or rough cut. This is the first pass, this is the first phase of editing. So normally the movie that the editor's cut is naturally longer than the final film. Then we come to the director's cut. Here the director and the editor will go through the entire movie, and the scenes and shots will be recorded, removed, shortened and tweaked. For example, there's one unnecessary scene there, it will be removed, and certain scenes, if it is too lengthy, it will be shortened by cutting the necessary parts. And it's only in this stage the sound engineer and the music composer join, and finally the background music, score, everything is given only in the director's cut. After all these things are over, the final cut is then ready. That is, the movie is finally ready. Now it goes to the negative matching stage. This final cut is sent to a negative matcher. This guy creates a negative out of the final cut. This negative is then sent to a film lab where prints are created. These prints are later distributed all over the country or all over the world. And in the past, editors used to work with the positive copy of the negative called as the work print. You work on it, you manually cut the scenes and paste where needed. And this ended up in edit decision list. Such list is created, and this list will have a number which will correspond to the edge list number. This edge list is nothing but the list that is in the negative copy. But in the current era, with the advent of all sorts of computers and digital things, negative can be optically scanned into a computer, and a cut list gets confirmed by a digital intermediate editor, who is also called as the DI editor. So the digital intermediate systems which are currently being used to edit films are Avid and Final Cut Pro. So now we move to the editing techniques. Film editing is often referred to as the invisible art because when it is well practiced, the viewer can be so engaged that he or she will not even know that the editor has done some work there. Right. So Walter Scott Murch, who's an American film editor, director, writer and sound designer, is the most respected film editor and sound designer in the modern cinema. So this person has given us 6 main criteria to cut or evaluate a cut. First one is emotion. Does the cut reflect what the editor believes the audience should be feeling at the moment? Is it in the same emotional level? Second, story. Does the cut advance the story? Does it help to better the storyline? Next, rhythm. Does the cut occur at the moment that is rhythmically interesting and right to the movie? Eye trace. Does the cut pay respect to the location, the movement of the audience's focus of interest within the frame? For example, if the previous cut you've done is in the eye level of, let's say, a female, and the next is immediately in the eye level of a male, and let's say in a helicopter view, then there is an inconsistency. These things should be avoided. Two-dimensional plane of the screen. Does the cut respect the 180-degree rule? We'll learn about the 180-degree rule later. Three-dimensional space of action. Is the cut true to the physical or spatial relationships within the film? So these are the 6 main criteria one has to be careful about when editing a film. Now we move to the cinematic styles. The pattern evolved for using the transitions, matches and duration is known as cinematic style. So in that, the first one we have here is continuity editing. So this basic cutting system used for maintaining a continuous and clear narrative action in a film is the continuity editing. So it relies on matching screen direction, position, and temporal relation from one shot to another shot. This is achieved by adhering to the 180-degree rule. So the 180-degree rule goes that the camera should always stay on one side of the axis of action, an imaginary line which is drawn between the two characters. So it is the line you see here. This is the imaginary line drawn between the two characters. So this is the 180-degree angle. And you have three cameras over here. This one gives up this picture. You can see blue's face and pink's back. And here you can see both of them, the side picture. Both the emotions are recorded here. And here you have pink's face and blue's back. Here, pink's face, the emotions on pink's face is magnified. The camera should only stay in this part of the angle axis. This one is called as the axis of action. The camera should never go to this side. This is the wrong place to set your camera. So this is the 180-degree rule. The camera should stay within the 180-degree of 180-degree that is assigned over here. So with this, we come to an end with the editing chapter. Thank you.